Hello, everybody. I'm Ed Parcaut, the host of Helping the Brave, and let's bring in our guest today, Terry Weaver. Thank you for coming on the show today.
Hey, thanks for having me, Ed.
My pleasure. There's one question I ask on every show. What service and why did you choose that service?
So the Navy, and I chose because the Navy recruiter kicked the Air Force recruiter's ass. I mean, he was on top of me, and he was just he was a go-getter. When he showed that he wanted me to join the Navy, the other guy was just, I don't know what he was doing. He wasn't doing his job.
He had already made his quota.
Yeah, that's it. Probably.
Yeah, he's like, I don't need to work harder this month. I already made my quota. And people understand, there's people who hate their recruiters and there are people who liked it. I don't even remember mine because I went in on delayed entry. I knew I wanted to go in the service just to get out of Turlock, California, which is not a bad place. It's just I wanted to go see the world. So I got to see San Diego. And then I got to see Fort San Antonio, Texas for my specialty school. And then I got to see San Diego, Camp Pendleton again. So that was where were you stationed at?
I was stationed at Pendleton. Basically the whole I was in. Yeah. So I was a Navy corpsman, Greenside, Pendleton, the whole shebang.
So never at the hospital, always with the Marines?
Well, I was at the hospital for a short stint, and then I went to the Fleet Marine Force.
Was that the new hospital or the old hospital?
It was the old one.
Yeah, that's where I was at, the old one. And when I came in there, first thing they asked, normally we're supposed to go to the wards or whatever. And they're like, anybody know computers? Yeah, I do. And so they sent me down to mobilization and planning down in the basement. And I spent the first 18 months in there. I didn't even go on a ward. I didn't do any medical at all.
Sounds boring.
Actually, it was excellent. We worked with all the readiness teams. I actually was a photographer. We'd go on different helicopters, different things all over Camp Pendleton. What was going on there is what we were on for all these readiness teams that came in and had to do, all the reservists and stuff. And then we would work on disaster drills and disaster plans. So it was just a unique, different look at it.
Sounds a little better.
Yeah, it was. It wasn't like just sitting at a desk. That would be boring. But, when it was time to change, that's when I went to physical therapy school and came back and really enjoyed it. You were Greenside pretty much the whole time. And why, please don't take this wrong. 4 years. Did you do a 4-year stint, 6 year stint? How long were you in?
I did a 5-year term sentence.
See, I did a 5-year, 5 months and 14 days, but who was counting?
Sure.
Because I had to extend for the specialty school.
Okay.
Yeah, which was fine. It worked. It's because otherwise for me, it was a 4-2. So I'd still be in active reserve. And I missed the callback by 2 days for the Iraq war. Yeah.
Yeah.
First one. Yeah. Because that started in August. So. All right. So you were in for 5 years. And did you go anywhere at all while you were in that period of time? I know you're at Camp Pendleton, but I'm sure you got deployed or did something.
Yeah. So I went to field medic service school. And then when 9/11 happened, I was working at Camp Pendleton Hospital, and we got activated, and I went with the Greenside and went with a maintenance battalion out to Iraq. So we spent a lot of the time preparing to enter Iraq because we were a part of the first push. And then in early 2003, we entered.
Because you joined at 17, and you spent your 21st birthday in Kuwait.
That's right. Yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah. Actually, I read your first part where it said you were a director, actor, author, producer, creator. I was like, I bet you was stationed in San Diego. And because I was stationed in San Diego, I started acting and modeling, and because I was much thinner and better looking back there and had hair. And it's just weird how that all worked. And it's so close to LA at the time. So.
Yeah. Well, I actually didn't start acting and producing movies until I was in my late 30s, which is interesting. And I'd already moved to Texas. So weird way to go about doing it. And
why is it weird? It's just a matter of when you do it. I mean, sometimes we all practice to get to where we want to be. I learned how to vibe code back in August of last year, and I've created so many apps. It's just, and I hadn't coded since the 90s. So,
well, I grew up in California, and I was never interested in being in the entertainment industry. That's why I say it was kind of a circuitous path.
What did your family do?
family, my dad and my grandfather were both electricians, both in the union, hardcore Democrats. And just, I would watch my dad come home from work and he would struggle to take off his boots. I would have to help him as a little kid. And then he would collapse and fall asleep on the couch and, pass out for 4 hours. And then on the weekends, he'd say things like, "Hey, you should be the third generation electrician." And I'm thinking, dude, what world are you living in? I'm not doing that.
And that was that in LA? Where was that at? Because you said California.
California.
Where?
San Bernardino, California.
San Bernardino? Okay.
Yeah.
I know where that is.
Yeah. It's the armpit of California, if anybody's wondering.
It's still close enough to the beach. It's only a couple hours away.
Yeah, a couple hours.
It's like saying I'm from San Diego. Where do you live? Temecula. That's not San Diego.
No.
Escondido. That's not San Diego.
That's true.
There's so many places people say they're from, and it's San Diego. It's like, that's not San Diego. Or LA. That's not LA. That is, but it's easier. And people ask me, and I say Modesto because at least we have Scott Peterson and a few other people who people remember where Modesto is. And what was that biker show? Sons of Anarchy.
Oh yeah, great show.
Yeah, they had Modesto on there a few times. Yeah, aren't we known for some amazing things?
No kidding.
All right, so you moved to Texas. Why did you move to Texas? All right, I'm gonna back up a little bit. You said your dad and grandfather were strong Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna say one thing: those Democrats are who Republicans are today.
Could be.
No, that's
sure.
If you look at the true Democrat, and I'm not going to get political, but if you can ask anyone, what do you believe in? That's kind of what this party has become of everything, where everything's changed so much in the last 20 years that, because if you look at UK and those places, their left makes our left look right. That's how far people have gone. And so when people say that there were certain things in the past, I could see that. That's a lot of the stuff from everybody I talk to. I do talk radio, which you don't know. And I do that weekly. So I talk about a lot of stuff, and I find 99% of us are in the middle somewhere. There's just that little 0.5% on each side that's so loud that we think is so big and so
You're
great.
Probably right.
And that's the difference I run into, because I don't think there is really truly, I'm this person. Well, that party's not that way anymore. And it's the same with the Republicans, not the same, and this and that. And someone asked me the other day, "You're a libertarian." I'm like, I like what they say, but that doesn't mean that's how I feel about everything.
Sure. People need labels to simplify things.
Yeah. It's like, I think if we could get rid of the parties, just say there's no parties, but they started because everybody needs a place to get together at, we would make it easier, because you could just say, I like that person because what he believes in. Well, what party is? That's not a party. It's just say like this, and this.
Sure.
Common sense.
I like it.
Yeah. All right. So back to my other question. When did you move to Texas?
Moved to Texas in 2008-ish. And really, I was running away from a bunch of chaos. I can say that because I'm on the other side of it. But I just needed an escape. And a good friend of mine lived out here, and he was getting ready to start at Texas A&M. And he said, "Hey, come out and stay for a week." So I came out. Really loved the place, really loved the university. I was looking for a good school to go to, and I met my wife out here in Texas. So ended up packing up and moving this way.
So that must have been a different, because when I was stationed at San Antonio, it was the only time, it's how I knew what humidity was.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like when you're in air conditioning and you're still wet, it's kind of weird, but that's how that works. Where are you guys out of? Where are you out of right now?
So we're in Houston area.
Okay. So pretty much the same thing.
It can get humid for sure.
Yeah. Cause I've had to come there a couple of times. One of my wife's friends there. So
yeah.
All right. So you moved to Houston, and then you went to school. I assumed you used your GI,
that's right.
And then you went to, and what did you go to college for? Was it for theater, for what you do now?
It was actually business. Yeah. I'd always wanted to be an entrepreneur. So I thought I want to get my degree, so I'll get it in business with an emphasis in marketing. That's what I majored in.
That's exactly what my bachelor's is. And then my master's, international business and marketing.
Cool.
Yeah, I had to get mine. I got mine while I was in, most of it, and then I had to finish my master's when I got out. So, do I need my master's? No, but at least.
Do you need any of it? No.
I remember going to school and my instructor saying, "This is a quadratic equation. You're going to use it all the time." I've never used it once.
No, me neither.
And I'm in the mortgage industry, and people are like, "How'd you get into that?" I was selling through all the military exchange systems, computers, and built this whole thing up. And then the company I took it to originally, they just couldn't support it anymore. It fell apart. My neighbor owned a mortgage company next door, and I walked in there, and he's like, "Come to work for me and just try it out." And I love helping people with numbers and showing them what they can do and what they, not can, but really what they can do and how it changes their life. And I really focus on VA loans now, which that's what I did originally because I was in San Diego. But when we built one of our last companies, we got so big that we couldn't specialize in so many things. But now I'm back to doing VA loans, reverse mortgages, and business loans and I don't mean like loaning you money for your business, but if you're a business owner, helping you get a loan for a house.
Gotcha.
Because knowing those numbers are a lot harder for people. All right. So you did that, and then you got out of college. What did you do? Started.
Well, I actually went into sales, and I get, I get interested in things, and I can do good in them. But eventually, if it's not passion filled or if it's not mission oriented, I kind of lose the fire. So I changed jobs probably every couple of years when I was working for other people. And I did a lot of sales, and I worked for some good people. I worked for some bad people, but eventually I wanted to do something with creativity and something a little more mission minded. So that took me into writing and ultimately film production and acting and those things.
So how do you do it in Texas? Because I'm used to LA and different things. I know there's places all over, and they go places to do the shows. So how did you get into it in Texas?
Well, so I started out in acting, and I got on the inside of a small production, and I got to learn a lot of the different departments because we were close to everything. And so after working on 3 or 4 indie productions, I was thinking to myself, man, I can do this, and I can do it on a high level. I knew that just by being around the people who were making these films. So I just made a decision I was going to do one, and I partnered with a good friend of mine who I actually served with in Iraq. And we started our production company. We wrote a script. We just built it brick by brick, all independently with private money. And now our first film is streaming, so multiple platforms.
And what's your first film?
It's called The Beast of Trinity, Texas.
And what's it about?
So it's technically a mystery in genre, but it's got this mythical element. You can kind of see a poster back there on my wall. It's got this mythical beast in it. It's got a heavy military through line. So I think it's actually pretty entertaining for veterans and mystery people. And it's got the creature feature aspect too. So it's a mystery.
So were you the director?
So I wrote, directed, produced, and I acted in it. And a lot of that was out of necessity.
Would you Clint Eastwood?
Well, exactly I like the comparison. Yeah. But
he would do the movies, and he'd be in them. And that's how you do it.
Yeah. He's pretty amazing, man.
Yeah. I mean, he did some amazing movies even later on in life, that other
absolutely
people think they should have done or whatever. And it's, so indie just means independent.
That's right.
In the studio.
That's
I think
right.
people think it's indie. That means it's from India. No, that's not what that means. It's indie means independent.
I should have explained that. Thanks.
No, you don't have to. We got it.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, I got it. That's what I'm here for. I got one job: control the podcast
nice.
And try to ask questions that people want to know. So for people who, because I've talked to, so it's weird, veterans, business owners, acting, directing, writing, and that's books, movies, everything. And it's just amazing. And I what's some of the stuff that you came up with this movie? Did you have it while you were in the service at all? Did you think about it and write it while you were in
a lot of my experiences while I was serving are in this movie. They're just wrapped in a fictional narrative. So I drew from reality and just wrapped it in fiction. There are people that are based off of real people in life. And so it's just wrapped up in a neat story. In fact, the lead is the character is a former corpsman. It doesn't explicitly say that, but we show some military flashbacks.
Okay. And then I assume all medical stuff in there is correct. They have the cane in the right hand.
Absolutely.
Because it's so funny how many shows you see where they have all that stuff wrong. My wife, like, she's a nurse at Kaiser and she's in management now, and she's been through it all, and she's like, "That's not how that works."
My wife's a nurse. She does the same thing.
Yeah. She wants to watch those movies. I don't anymore because I'm not in the medical field. I don't want to see that stuff anymore.
Yeah.
What's next for you? Because now you have your first movie. Do you have a script for your next one? Is it like Rocky? You're gonna have Rocky 2. The Beast. Beast of Trinity 2.
So the movie's doing really well. It would have to continue to do really well for us to make a sequel. I really don't like sequels. There's only a couple of sequels that I really like. But typically a sequel is never as good as the first one. You know what? I can't even remember watching Rambo. I'm sure I have.
They were the first ones who actually came out, with sequels. Nobody thought sequels could be done. And then they did, Rocky 2 came out and did so well that they were like, wow, you can make as much money off the first one and the second one. We don't need Scream 13. It's at 7.
Right. Right.
There's some of those things that don't need to be made. There's only so many times you can bring them back. Friday the 13th. Part 14 doesn't need to happen.
And I'm kind of a purist. Like, I don't want to make movies just to make money. That's not my intention. My intention is to create something that's entertaining and meaningful. So I've already written my next script, and I'm in development for that right now.
Is that the other poster behind you, or what's that other poster?
No, that one's Heat, man. Okay. That's a classic.
I couldn't see the word Heat.
Mm-hmm.
I could only
see a good one. One of my favorites.
Yeah,
so
I can see that. And it's amazing how many older movies have been remade and people don't even know they were remade. They thought they were the original.
Heat was actually a remake.
Yeah. Well, is that the original one? Is that the next one?
So it wasn't called Heat when Michael Mann made it. It was a movie of the week when he first made it. I can't even remember the name. I've never seen it, but I love Heat so much. I've done a lot of research and I found that out. Now he's working on Heat 2, which is, I can't wait. It's going to be a gift from the gods.
So is it easier to do the second movie than the first?
I would say, like, you have a roadmap, but I'm still scared as hell, like, working on this thing. Because the stakes always grow with you always want to do something better. It's going to be more expensive. You want bigger actors. So it seems like the stakes are higher, but you have a roadmap. So you've been there, done that. So it's a little easier to see. Still very complicated though.
No, I can see that because the worst part about us veterans is we always want to do better than we did before. And we always want to, because that's what I can do a VA loan in 8 days, which nobody can say that on average, which is not unusual. It's not hard. It's not like I killed myself. It's just that's as soon as I can get it done because of the actual federal laws. You can't. You have to, when the moment you start a loan, if you ever did a VA loan, when you sign your first stuff, you can't sign loan documents for 8 days.
Interesting.
So that's the whole 2008 issue that came up. Back in the day, they had loan estimates for this long and CDs and all this stuff. Prior to that was good faith estimates. It was just a 3-day. So you could, it's not a big deal. But now, so what I'm getting at is I do everything I can to make something better and better and better. And that's the same thing I did with the VA claim bridge is I want to make it just amazing. And they're like, okay, you have an MVP, go get funding, go get this. I'm like, but I'm not finished with it yet. And they're like, you can't do that. Just go get, go show you have amazing thing. Just go get funding for it. So I understand. So so are you still going for funding or did you make enough money off this one, paying people back to do the next one?
No, I don't know if I would fund it out of my own pocket if I did. It's just like there's so much work on the producer side and the directing side. You kind of earn your stake in the movie as a producer director and the writer. So no, I'm actually in development, which means I'm working on the financing stuff and the casting stuff and the logistics of everything. It's a long process.
Is it being made in Texas too?
It's going to be made in Texas. Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
the other one was the Beast of Trinity? Of course, it was made in Texas.
Yeah. In fact, we used Trinity, the actual city of Trinity, and surrounding areas. So there's an actual town named Trinity in
Yeah,
Texas.
I've heard of it before. I have, not everybody else.
Yeah, it's a very small town, 2,000 people.
Well, I was actually when I was stationed there for physical therapy school, we had to go to different places from there, and it's amazing what you'd go through to get to where we had to go to all the different bases to do our weekly training that we had to do, and you found stuff you had no idea was there. So
a lot of land in Texas, man. It's a big place.
It's a big place. Yeah. All right, so sorry, you're too this. I don't want to say too easy, but all right. So you've talked about. So the next movie, is it completely, totally different than this movie? Meaning, like you said, this one you had some of your personal stuff in it. Are you doing the same thing again, or is this something totally different?
Yeah. So I adapted this. What happened is I started working on a TV series, and I was a brand new actor, and they cast me as the lead. And so I had to kind of start from ground zero. And so I started to develop a backstory. And the way I did that is I started writing about this character. I loved it so much because I was pulling from my military history. I just ended up writing a novel that turned into a novel series. So I wrote this novel series around the Eli Ridge character. The first one is called A Dark Day in Texas. The second one is called Whitewashed Tomb. I pulled a lot from Whitewashed Tomb. And so the character in this next movie is the character from the books. It's adapted from very loosely from that book, Whitewashed Tomb, but it's going to be a lot different. So
let's back up. So you started writing. When did you write this series?
The series started I was 39. I'm 44 right now. I mean, you're a math guy. You could probably do the.
No, I got the number already.
Yeah.
But all right. So did you do any of this type of writing while you were in the service? No,
I did not. No. I've done I did acting as a kid, but I never really had a creative outlet. And I think that's so important. I felt very caged. I felt like a caged lion in all these jobs that I have. And I know now it's because I didn't have any kind of creative outlet. I was just in the grind. I was stuck in the rat race. And Ed, have you heard what they say about the rat race?
No, what?
Even if you win, you're still a rat. So that you got to have some kind of outlet, some kind of pleasure, some kind of mission. And I didn't gain that until I was, in my late 30s.
All right. So back up. You said as a kid you acted.
I did, yeah.
Because you
played
stage
stuff.
Huh?
Stage stuff, yeah. It was. I did do some acting.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, because that's like, there's so many things you can do as a kid. I used all the acting and the stuff I learned when I was in San Diego for when I sell by the phone and talk and everything to connect with people. And when I do certain things a certain way, you can use it in many different ways. That stuff all works really well for you.
It's a valuable skill
and confidence and turn it on. I remember in sales, they're like, okay, before you walk in the door, turn it on, or if you go to work, leave everything on the other side of the door. Don't let it affect you the rest of the day. It's hard to do, but people, that is why you have to do it sometimes, especially if you're the breadwinner. Question for you. It's just going to be a deep one. All right. So do you get paid to produce these?
I pay myself. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So now some of the producing I do, I have to develop it. I have to get the project up and running. So I haven't taken a paycheck for the new film. That probably won't start for, another 6 months. But to answer your question, there is pay. It's either an equity or some kind of pay.
Right. No, I'm just saying, but typically a director gets paid.
Right.
Yeah. But when you do indie, you're part of you got to get the funds to do everything. And you don't have a studio behind you and all that stuff.
You have to make budget, and it's a lot different. Sometimes you have to spend your own money to develop and produce in the beginning.
Budget? What's budget?
Yeah. Budget's huge.
Yeah, but you just got to spend it all. Otherwise you won't get any more money the next year. Yeah.
Slip back into the government mindset. Yeah.
Totally the way it is. All right, Terry, what should I have asked you that I didn't ask you today?
Well, I would say maybe something that that's applicable to all veterans and maybe all humans. I was destroyed when I came out of the military, and a lot of the destroying was done by me. And so I always tried to speak to the veteran audience and encourage them to find some kind of passion, some kind of mission. And I go back to this quote that I can vaguely remember. This isn't verbatim, but essentially it goes like this: don't ask what the world needs from you. Ask what brings you to life, because the world needs people who are alive, like really alive inside. And so I always encourage people, look, if you're not happy with life, it's about mindset. It's about tapping into your passion. It's about living on mission, especially for us military guys and ex-military guys. You got to have a mission, because when we were in the military, we were wrapped up in a big mission, even if we didn't realize it at the time. We were wrapped up in a big mission, and we were doing meaningful things, and we could go to work every day and say, okay, I stand for these values and I'm protecting people. All that goes away when you get out. So you have to fill that void with something. And I think something that's very powerful is storytelling and meaningful stories. I remember being stationed out in the Middle East, and it was chaotic, and we had to figure out ways to deal with that, the chaos. One of the ways we dealt with it is me and two of my buddies, we would take our cots outside and lay them under the Iraq stars. And my buddy, the funniest human I've ever met, his name's the Squirrel. We nicknamed him. He would tell us stories, and we would completely escape from where we were, a hostile war environment. And we would laugh our asses off, and we'd fall asleep under the stars. It was incredible. And looking back at that, like, I realized the power of storytelling. So that's why I got into storytelling.
That's why I got into radio and podcasting.
Yeah. Yeah. It's powerful.
It's the same thing. It's exactly, and when you interview people, you get to find out their story and you get to help bring it out. Yours was a little different. I've not had what you do before somebody, as a director in indie films and all that. I did have a guy who was 56 who went into the service as a veterinarian.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. For a 10-year thing. Yeah. He was like, oldest guy ever to join the military.
No kidding.
Yeah. That was a unique show because he talked all about it. He just wanted to serve after everything he did, and he had to get a waiver, and some congressman helped him get one.
That's amazing. Good for him.
Yeah. He was deployed like 4 times because he worked with the dogs. Yeah. So that was his specialty, is work, taking care of the dogs. I don't know if it was the dogs, but taking care of dogs. How about that? Is that better?
Yeah. The corpsmen took care of the dogs. That's code for feet.
Yeah. Devil dogs.
Or devil dogs. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. The jarheads are best friends. Yeah. I have buddies of mine. They're like, yeah, it's the men's department of the Navy.
Of course.
Yeah. Of course it is.
Yeah. Crown eaters.
Yeah. Yeah, Uncle Sam's Misguided Children, or what was the other one? What's the difference between Boy Scouts and the Marine Corps?
What is it?
Boy Scouts have adult supervision.
That's good. Yeah, those guys are priceless, man.
Well, no, they pick on me all the time. I have a bunch around here, and that's how they're the only ones, back and forth that can do it. If you're never been in the service, not been a Marine or corpsman, and not connected, don't even try.
Right. Yeah.
All right, Terry, thank you for being on the show today. So where do people find your movie, The Beast of Trinity, Texas?
It's streaming on Amazon, Apple TV, and Tubi. So anybody can watch it. It's out there. It's I hope it impacts people the way that I think it should. Number one, it'll entertain you. 2, it's going to leave you in a better place than when you showed up for the movie.
How hard was it to get it to stream on Amazon and the other places?
I mean, it's quality. So when you have something quality, there's demand for it. So I don't know. It's a tough one to answer.
The reason I'm asking, because it's like podcasting, right? And certain things you put it out and it gets put out there. There's no standard, because Fortunately, if you get to 21 episodes, you're in the top 1% of all podcasts.
Well, Amazon has standards for movies to answer.
I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do. But is it like, how hard is the process? You send it to them, they review it, and then
No, you have to have a distributor that actually represents your film, and they take it to them and they review it, and they let the distributor know if they want the film, essentially.
And how long does that take?
It took us, once we got into distribution, I don't know, a couple months.
Okay, so that's not too bad. And then do you go to all the independent little movie houses in all the towns?
We did a small theatrical release and it was successful, but dude, a lot of energy to do that. And we had a super small team. So the best, I mean, it just kind of blew up on Amazon and the other platforms,
Good.
especially Tubi. It's blowing up on Tubi.
Oh, really? Yeah, well, Tubi's free. That's
Yeah. No barrier to entry.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Everybody needs to watch something. That's good. I was just curious because my wife took me to the local theater here, and it was a documentary on that 200-mile run or whatever, the 24 hours, that 3 days run or whatever it was. And it just how people put themselves through that stuff. It's just, amazing.
Yeah, it is, man.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. No, thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, I did triathlon, so I've done my own thing, but I don't like running. Neither does my knee.
No. Yeah. Well, I appreciate what you do for vets, man, and what you're building. That's impressive, dude.
I appreciate it. It's just giving back, trying to help us. Just like you said, we got to find a purpose. I had many purposes along my life, and now this is my new one. I also did a fire walk for veterans for the last 2 years. Can you see getting the camera? There we go.
Nice.
Operation Firewalk here out of Modesto. It's like a Tony Robbins event. The guy that worked for Tony Robbins for 20 years as his fire captain helps me put it on. And so it's, again, help you find your purpose, help you find your thing. It's, to go across the coals, step on them. It was a big thing. We're amazing what we did over the last 2 years. We're going to do it again. Might not be this year, but it'll definitely be next year.
Yeah, and it's so hot out there that shit just combusts, right? You don't even need fire. Just
it's not that hot. It is a dry heat, not a wet.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, we get Modesto we get 22 days over 100.
So, that's a lot.
No, it's not. It's not together. Those are like here and there. That's not a lot. I mean, you guys get 80 and that's enough.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's true.
80 and 80. No, thank you. I can do 110 because I have a pool and everything else. There's ways to deal with it. But I don't want to go a week like that. No way.
No, yeah. You're in a good spot.
Well, we have a cabin up in Pinecrest. We can go there during the summer to get away from because it's really, our months are July, August, and September that you have those hotter days. So we just go up there and it's 20 degrees cooler up there. So
awesome.
Yeah. Terry, thank you so much for being on the show. I will definitely check out your movie and I really appreciate it. And again, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you, Ed. Appreciate it, man.
My pleasure.